So uh, it's nice to be here again. It was quite a long time before I stream. It's my first stream since too long. We can say that. Why I'm doing this? Because I want to give a response to this video from Standing for Truth. And of course, I want to give my 2 cents on the matter. Why it's important? Mm, because I think that we have something to learn about this video. First of all, I will answer just some points. I will get more or less to half of the total video. I will do another stream for the second part, and there is a second video, and I will talk about that too. So let's get to my first point. Here in this video, you will find the link to the video, of course. There is this host, Karl Werner, Dr. Karl Werner, that is proposing his view about evolution. And I have nothing to say till this point. He's talking about himself, about his experience. I will not talk about that. I think that the first point that's important is this. Is talking about the great figure behind evolution, and is proposing that Darwin and other scientists did not have a degree. I will let him speak, and I will give my thoughts on it after.
Scientist that stood up, but he was a physician. And on the human evolution side, the pro-evolution side, all of these guys are physicians, like Raymond Dart, who discovered the palm child, Robert Broom, who discovered
Mrs. Plez, Eugene Du Bois, who discovered Homo erectus, and Davidson Black, a physician from Canada, who discovered the Peking man, all physicians. And another answer to this question, Carl, how do you have the authority to be even talking to us tonight, is that the many evolutionists are unprepared, and yet they have these high positions and make these definitive statements, and yet they don't have the training. For example, Charles Darwin has no science degree. He went to medical school and dropped out. And I graduated, by the way. And he wrote The Origin of Species, and yet his only college degree was in religion. Believe that.
So I think that you get the point. Sorry for my voice. As a teacher, I did use my voice a lot during this year. It's really hot here in Italy. So if you see me a little bit overheated, it's for that reason. Yeah, it's true. All those people did not have degrees. What's important here? First of all, when you speak about someone, of course, the degree has some importance. The degree is the means to know that someone did do some things. For example, I have a degree in chemistry, and from that you can know that I did study chemistry for 3,000 hours. aside from that, if you have a theory and if you can prove it, you do not need a degree. Of course, if you have one, it's more easy for you to get in the loop because you are in a university, you have all the right contact to do things. It's more easy to do so. But if you do find something, a discovery, you do not need the degree. When you speak about these kind of things, you need to see what those people are saying, not what kind of degree they had. So it's true, Darwin did not have any degree, but his theory is still valid today. Of course, not everything he said is still valid. He was wrong about many things, but the core of his theory is still valid today. So, my second point is a little bit after that, and it's a funny thing. So,
was at Minsky Pizza's Parlor,
and which is about a block from the University of Missouri in Kansas City, where I was in school. I was 19 years old, and a friend asked me out for dinner on a Sunday night because the dorm doesn't serve food on Sunday night. And let's go up to Minsky's and eat pizza. I didn't think anything of it, but
so I have. This is a part of his story. Of course, I do not want to say anything about his story. I think it's credible. It's not credible. I will talk a little about it later. But as for now, Dr. Werner, I'm sorry. If that was a pizza, I'm really, really sorry. When I think about pizza, I think something like this. So maybe I will have some occasion to offer you a proper pizza. I live in Italy. It's not that easy, but that's a pizza if you talk with me. So yeah, very, very sorry. On more pressing matters, the next point is a little bit later, not too much. And it's all about his 3 points. Why Werner, in his stories, did start to doubt the theory of evolution. Why? Let's see together why he does have 3 points about this. So I want you to hear him speak before I say anything.
Questions. And I'm going to take you off screen. I was going to talk to the audience now, Donnie. That he said, Carl, at the end of the pizza, he said, Carl, you believe in the Big Bang, right? And the natural formation of the universe. I said, yeah. And he says, well, what do you think about the problems with the laws of physics not agreeing with the Big Bang, that the Big Bang is impossible? I said, what in the world are you talking about? He said, in other words, matter doesn't form naturally from nothingness. And that's the first law of thermodynamics. If atoms, matter, do not form from nothingness, and you can't create matter from nothingness, how could the universe ever form naturally?
So his 3 points are quite something if you ask me. Why? The first one is all about the Big Bang and the fact, if you ask him, that it's impossible to the Kalam argument, basically. It's impossible to have something created without a cause. Um, if you say something like that to an atheist, he will not flinch. Usually, at least. Why? Because it's not really a good argument, if you ask me. The Big Bang was not something. It was not ex nihilo creation, okay? So it's not like there was nothing and then Big Bang and there was all the universe. The Big Bang is a rapid expansion of space-time, meaning that space and time began with the universe itself, with the Big Bang. Before the Big Bang, if you can say before, because time was not a thing, there was still something, energy, things like that. And time, as we experience, starts with the universe itself. So we can say that the universe has all the time in the universe, because time and space are basically the same thing. Time is the fourth dimension. So space and time began with the universe. It's not like they are separate things. So the universe, if you mean with the universe, all things in existence was already there. And if something did start the whole process, we cannot say, we cannot know, but you cannot simply say it was God. And you cannot say for certain that was a specific God. So to doubt evolution on this basis, it's quite strange. I do not want to discard his experience, but for an evolutionist, as you say, we don't call ourselves evolutionists. It's quite strange to have a problem with a question like that. We do know it. It's a very common thing people say to us, so it's not like you will crumble with this. But let's go on.
Without a metaphysical godlike force creating matter. I sat there silent, and the pizza parlor suddenly got silent, like in a movie, and all I could hear is the muffles, And I think,
again, for me, it's not really a thing. It's not like you can believe that someone, he was saying that he was a real nerd about evolution, really dedicated. I cannot see myself in his shoes. I don't know if you can understand. Maybe it's true, but for sure, if he was studying biology, it's quite strange. If you quite well versed on the matter, first of all, Big Bang and things like that have nothing to do with evolution. So I will simply say what? And then again, it's a very common argument. Maybe back then it was not that common, but maybe someone uh, can say that in the comments if you want to. Let's see.
What?
And then he threw a second question. I said, Carl, you believe that life formed naturally after the earth cooled down and the chemicals interacted and the first living thing formed, a bacteria, through the interaction of the chemicals interacting, lightning and things like that? Yeah. He says, you know that's impossible because the components of living cells, that is DNA, RNA, enzymes, proteins, functional cell membranes, these are the large molecules. They're not just like CO2 or O2. These have thousands of atoms in them.
Abiogenesis. If you are looking to this video, maybe you know me. You know that I know a thing or two about the topic. And no, it's not like that. Abiogenesis is not a theory, so it's not like evolution. It's not proven, but for sure it's at least possible. And I'm pretty sure it was back in his time too. If you have done, as Carl Werner is saying, if you have done a lot of research about this topic, I think that abiogenesis is not that big of a problem. For sure, it's at least possible. You do not need a god for that, okay? Maybe look to my debate with Anthony on the matter, on standing for truth. But again, not a good topic to present to someone studying these kind of things. Biogenesis is not evolution, first of all. It's a different topic, and it's not like it's impossible, as Dr. Werner is saying. So it's not this incredible point to present to someone like me that it's arguing for evolution. Let's go to his third point, and I think that you get my point. I did get to more or less, I did watch all the video, and then I did take notes on half of this video, and I can say to you that you can get to that point and still no point on the fraud of human evolution. So it's a little bit slow, this video. I think that if you have good arguments for the fraud of human evolution, you need to give them as soon as you get there. I think that those are not arguments against human evolution for sure. We are not even to evolution, because abiogenesis is not evolution. And to be honest, there are not really good arguments as for now.
Large double helix of DNA, the globular proteins that get folded up.
He says, you know that proteins, DNA, RNA, and functional cell membranes never, ever form naturally. They cannot form by themselves. It's impossible to mix chemicals up.
Not really, and I did talk about that. Look for David Demer. He did something very, very close to exactly that. So it's not like that.
And form DNA or RNA or proteins. So if the four components that are necessary for life couldn't form, how could you form a living cell? It's like, yeah, I was dumbfounded. I was speechless.
Again, if you really are into the topic of evolution, those arguments are not good enough to uh, make you stop on your tracks. Um, Maybe back then was different, but I find it very, very hard to believe. Okay, and I do not want to doubt his story. It's not about that. I'm talking about my experience. Those arguments are not that good, and to use them now, I think that they are pretty weak and a little bit out of date. And if you ask me, a little bit too generic. If you want to give proof of fraud, you need to go a little bit deeper. Maybe he will. As for now, I think he did not got any better than this. My opinion, but I did not see the second video, so maybe I'm in for a surprise there. I don't know. Let's see.
And I didn't. I'll have to think about that. You know, I wasn't letting on to him, who I perceived as a Christian. I wasn't letting on to him that I was bothered by this, but I was very bothered because I should be able to answer these questions. And his third question is, Carl, the fossil record today, and now the number is 1 billion. He said 200 million back then, but the fossil record has 1 billion fossils. That's a lot of fossils. Why don't the fossils show evolution? In other words, all the groups of animals just suddenly appear in the fossil record without.
And here we go. Third point, and it will get a little bit later on the Cambrian and Precambrian, but I think that I can answer right now. First of all, it's not true. We do have a fossil showing evolution. Evolution, it's not Pokemon evolution, it's a mechanism of a group of individual. It's not like you evolve during your life. You need to observe generation per generation, and it's all about groups of animals. The individual is not evolving; the population is. So we will have. I will show you a fossil. I did not get much material for this night. I think that this introduction is not really done in detail, so I did not bring much, and I will explain why. I was just giving my answer to these videos on because I got the invitation from Donny to do so. So we do see evolution, And later in the video, I think that I do not need to show you the clip. If you need to, you can see it in the video. It's at the 29th minute or so, if I recall correctly, about the Cambrian and Precambrian. Like all the organisms did appear suddenly in basically one stop. No, we are talking about a period of millions upon millions of years. We are talking about a time, very, very long time, million of years. Also, it's not like all the modern animals did get there. He is showing a lot of pigs, telling you this organism is like this other organism that it's living right there. It's still alive. They are pretty much similar, but they are not the same. Different species. It's not like scientists do name species just because they want to. There are difference, a lot of difference. So after this point, he will show whale evolution, and then a little bit about dinosaurs evolution. We are talking about 10 minutes of content. Is talking about whale and dinosaur evolution. I think that I will skip to the dinosaurs. I'll show you what is telling, and then we can start from there. So oh,
It looks like you.
sorry about that. So I will skip the whale evolution. I did get something, and I can show you what was his point about whale evolution, that the fossil was incomplete, that just two guys were working on it. So it's saying that not a good work was done on the fossil about Pachycetus. And I did research the matter, and it's not like we just have a single skeleton. This is Pachycetus. Of course, this is a cast, a replica. Those are not real bones, but just to know how much we know about this creature. Also, if you look in the video, it says that they did found only fragments of the skull. In part, it's true. The first discovery was about skull, and it was not complete, but it was just the first one. Okay, we got much more. It's not like the one and only. We do know about a bunch of these species. You can read there that the first discovery was about a skull fragment. But of course, it's not the only one. We got more, and right now we know a lot about this animal. This is all about the Pachycetus, and now I show you what is saying about dinosaurs. This is a good one, and we got there. So let's see what he has to say about the matter.
Almost like a pheasant or something.
And this is the oldest, and you don't have the evidence before this. In other words, you got this creature. It's called Archaeopteryx. Here's a fossil of Archaeopteryx, and you have dinosaurs, but you don't have in the proper rock layer a dinosaur slowly changing into Archaeopteryx. What you have is frauds.
His point there is pretty simple. We just have Archaeopteryx. It's a kind of bird, very strange bird, and we do not have any in between. And no, you see that this is a dinosaurs. It's not an Archaeopteryx. It's a close relative to the Velociraptor, and it did have feathers, and you can see there the clothing. It was basically a Velociraptor. It's not a bird. It was not able to fly. It was still able to grab his prey with his arms. It's not a bird. It was not able to fly. It's not even the only other kind of dinosaurs with feathers. We did find more, for example, Microraptor and things like that. My point is, the doctor is simply wrong. We do have this kind of fossil. You are looking into it. If you can show to me that's a fraud, no problem. But this is my evidence that Dr. Werner is simply wrong. Sorry about that. Next thing, we have a little bit later this. To be clear, I disagree with Dr. Werner about the term apeman, but I do not want to make a fuss about it. Let's be clear. If you want to use the term, fine. It's not a scientific term. We are apes, not because I want to mock anyone or to be rude. We do have the same characteristic as apes. So on a scientific term, we are apes. Okay. It's not like we are chimpanzees, but we are still apes. We have the same characteristics. Also, on this image, of course, it's not what we understand as evolution. Evolution is not a linear process from point A to point B. And that was all my point. I think that Werner is not making any point that I need to refute right now. The next point, it's not last, but we are almost there. it's a little bit later. Okay.
Possums, frogs, albatross, avocet, et cetera, et cetera. Tasmanian devils. You can see these animals here. They're just familiar. These were found with dinosaurs, but they never display them with the dinosaur displays at the museum.
Okay. No, they were completely different animals. Here I did wrote just what because no, it's not like that. Those are modern animals. Back then we did have mammals, small rodents. They were not rodents actually. They were pretty similar, but they were very basal form of this kind of creatures. So no, it's not true. You will not find those animals with dinosaurs. Full stop. You will not. And if you can show me a penguin with the dinosaurs or any other modern animal you see there with the dinosaurs, okay, let's do that. Last point, and a very brief point, and then the doctor will start to talk about human evolution. I think that first point it's not even that good, but I will talk about it later. This video is all about just an introduction. It's my first time in a year or so that I made anything, so I just want to introduce the topic. I think that the doctor is not speaking in a very very, how can I say it? It's not going into the specifics. Is talking about things that they are not that deep in the lore, if you ask me. Okay. Last.
Looks just the same. Now you can see that this looks like this. And if you had a close-up look on this, I'm not don't have the screen set for you, but it's amazing. But what they did was they renamed it.
Not an expert on those organisms, but it's not just that. Okay, scientists do not work like that. I do not want to be mean. Long for it's not my style, but it's simply not true. Usually there are differences. Of course, if you look at a picture in a book inside a small picture in a presentation, it's not that simple to see those differences. Also, I'm not an expert, so I cannot tell you what are those differences. But it's not just like that. It's not like scientists are renaming things just because they want to.
For
For
example,
example,
this
this
live one is called Nautilus pampilius. But when they found the same animal next to a dinosaur, they changed the genus and species. It wasn't Nautilus pampilius. Now it's called Cynoceras lineatus. And so if you just looked at the names, you would say, oh, evolution occurred. But if you actually took the time, photographed the fossils that were found next to the dinosaurs, and then compare them to the modern, and then compare the names, you realize they have been playing a game and changing out. And then it makes me mad when I discover.
Yeah, and this was my last point on the introduction. After this, he will start talking about human evolution. At last, we are talking about 44 minutes, a long time, if you ask me. But look, scientists are not playing games. If they are given a different name, it's because it's a different species. On this particular organism, I cannot tell the exact differences. Maybe it's a bigger shell. I don't know. I can do a research on it if someone want to know more on the topic. But it's not a good thing to say that scientists are just playing games. You need to give a little bit stronger evidence for it. You are saying something really, really mean about those people. It's not like they are just playing. I didn't know a bunch of scientists during my studies. Did not study anything too complex. It was just chemistry, but I was working around scientists, around doctors, people like that, and they, for my experience, are people working very, very hard for their fields. So I think that Dr. Warner, and it's not, again, I do not want to fight anyone, but if you want to say certain things about scientists and people like that, bring better evidence for it. Those people are working, those people have families. I do not think that they will take offense on what you are saying right now. I do not think that anyone would notice. They work too much to notice, but it's not really nice. If you have evidence of a fraud, I'm here. I really want to see that. Maybe a little bit, dig a little bit deeper. I think that those scientists deserve a little bit better. So I think that I will close the stream. No one was really there, but it's no problem. I'm not really good at this job. It was just my thoughts on the matter. I hope that at least Donnie will see it. If you do, Donnie, let me know what you think. And I will return for part 2 of the first video. And I will look into the second two, of course. As for now, I'm not impressed. See you. It was a pleasure to do this video. It's a good hobby for me, and I hope to see you all next time. See you.